I call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so the minutes from our previous meeting of 2 weeks ago. We continued the public hearing for Red List Private Family Cemetery. And we voted to have a site walk, which took place this past Saturday, and to increase the escrow. And then we continued the public hearing to tonight. Then we had a discussion about Wingdale Solar, and then a motion to set the secret public hearing for the public scoping session for May 4th, which is our next meeting, and to also have a discussion this evening about the scoping document that our planner will walk us through. And under new business, we looked at the Lake Ellis Country Inn project, and we had a site walk this past Saturday and set the escrow for that as well. And then we adjourned the meeting. Motion to accept the minutes made by
So moved.
Member
Second.
Williams, second by Member Little Overdeer. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say no. Okay, that passes 4-0 with 2 absences. Right. Next we have continuation of the public hearing for Red List Private Family Cemetery. So before we continue the public hearing, if a representative could come to the podium, please. Any members of the public wishing to speak at this public hearing, please do sign in.
Good evening. We are here for Mr. Redlist for a proposed cemetery, a private family cemetery that's located on a vacant property of Mr. Redlist. Again, the cemetery is 40 by 80 foot, located in the southwest corner of the property. One of the reasons that we've chose this particular location is that it avoids the conservation easement and the Iroquois gas pipeline that's in the back, so we can't place it back in the rear of the property. It's also a flat area of the property, and it was designed to be on the boundary line, kind of as their basis, because they, Mr. Redlist and the surveyor, when they were walking the property, you know, this area is currently hayed, it's an open field, and they felt it was more appropriate to have the cemetery off the boundary line rather than just kind of smack dab right in the middle of the property. I believe you had a site visit on Saturday, and I know that you'll probably be discussing that today, but I just want to mention that I believe I spoke to Mr. Redlist and Mr. Chase following the meeting. I think there was some discussions about possibly putting some trees, as a way of buffering, visually screening the cemetery from the neighbors. Mr. Redlist is amenable to that. We can discuss that further with you. But again, this is a use that's permitted in the zoning law. It's a special use permit in the RU and the AQ overlay district. I know at the last meeting we talked about section 1401 of the not-for-profit law, which did include a discussion about separations between cemetery uses and dwelling units. Again, as it was discussed by your attorney and also by myself, section 1401 of the not-for-profit law is not applicable in this case. We do think it's inappropriate for the board to be considering that distance, even if it's for guidance purposes. As I mentioned, the state does not regulate cemetery uses. It's under local jurisdiction. The town of Dover has allowed this use as a special use permit, has not provided any separation distances, and we are in compliance with the Department of Health separation distances. So that's, again, if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to address them.
We did go on the site walk. Anybody want to comment on site walk?
Well, it was a nice day for it,
It was a nice day for it.
and it looked like a good site. You know, they pointed out the different houses, and they came up with a couple of suggestions for where they could put screening if it turned out to be needed. They didn't want to make any screening that was going to be real high, because that might block the neighbor's view of the mountains. So they were.
Looking east, right?
What?
Looking east, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. You were there.
I wasn't at the site walk, but if screening is amenable to the applicant, I think that might be a good option.
Of course.
That's my only comment.
Okay.
The site seemed fine to me. The only thing I asked was, the number of grave sites that were potentially going to be in that spot.
Right.
And he indicated that it was not going to be more than maybe 2. And that doesn't preclude that later on there will be more. But in the near future, that was the capacity that he was looking at, which, with screening, I don't see a problem.
Right. Okay, thank you. Thank you all. So, just being on the site, I understand about the conservation easement, that nothing could be put in that space. And I understand, that that New York State law doesn't apply, but I don't believe that means that we can't set a reasonable setback from other people's houses. I mean, what is it, 1,650 feet does seem like a lot. But, I think as you're standing on the site, it's clear that it's, relatively close to one neighbor's house. There is a bit of a cresting of the property, and then I know it goes downhill into the conservation easement area. So, as I'm standing there, one of the things that occurred to me was that maybe the proposed cemetery could be a little farther away. It might be over the crest of that hill. I'm not entirely sure. I was trying to look at the
Turn the train on.
yeah. So that's what I was trying to figure out with this. Is there a way to,
Yeah, there's terrain, you go up in the mapping.
yeah, which,
Third one down,
here,
Right there.
map layers, okay, yes, right,
and
right,
it's
right.
got topography. Second one down.
Thank you.
That should be 5-foot contours.
Yeah.
That pretty much peaks right where he has.
Yeah, and actually you can see right where it's good, because what was interesting is that the proposed location has a depression in the ground, and talking with the applicant, it seemed like that might have been like maybe a drainage pond or something, like that was kind of dug out at some point.
Yeah.
There was a big tree there,
Yeah.
vines were kind of impeding on that tree a bit, but it's right there, like it's this spot.
Right where that tree is.
So, you could see that it does drop off as you go farther east. This let me try and zoom out a little bit.
Go up in height.
Every time I zoom in or out, it seems to change the page location. So this is only focused in on, right where cemetery is, which makes sense. So one of the things that I'm thinking that might be of use to see is if the cemetery was up against somewhere in here is the border for the conservation easement. Not exactly sure where. I don't believe it would show up on here. If you went back to this, it appears as though the conservation easement line from here to here is just slightly bigger, slightly longer than the line from there to there. So it makes me think that that the conservation easement would maybe be around there,
Yeah, about right.
which
Yeah.
would
Good idea.
probably put it at, would you say this is 5 feet?
Yeah, they got, if you zoom in, it has the elevations on them.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets more detailed as you zoom in. Let me see. That's pretty much the middle. It's probably right around there. So what is that? That's 5. The problem is, obviously, when I do this on the wall, you don't see it. I don't see it on the screen.
Too far away to read that, maybe you
Yeah.
can.
No, I could. Yeah, that's 560. So this is 560, 562. This is 570, looping around here. So if it's over the crest of that hill, and as discussed, the grave markers being low to the ground, maybe it's something that none of the neighbors would see. Alternatively, the applicant also owns this property to the south of the property we're discussing, this property, and then the property where what was it, Argyle Ranch, I believe it was called. So I presume this also has some kind of conservation easement. I mean, you kind of see where the pipeline likely is, somewhere, in this kind of, almost like a flattening that had happened in installing that pipeline. Putting it down on this property then maybe just shifts it down to be a concern for a different neighbor. So I'm not suggesting that's a
That field also isn't as accessible. That field, the field to the south, the property to the south isn't as accessible as this one is.
Okay. And again, I'm just
I know,
trying
I
to find
understand.
something that is more, I mean,
And up in
You know,
that
I mean,
corner
what-
is all wooded.
it's all wooded.
And then if you also see right where the house site is, see there's like a big, that one does have quite
So
a,
this is the house.
Yeah.
And these are like 2 garages.
yep. And then if you go right where the 550 line is, there's a pretty steep, this 550.
Yeah, this
going-
flattened
it goes-
area is like a riding rink. Is that what
Yep,
we?
and then right by there, it kind of goes,
Just drops
it's not,
off. Mm-hmm.
it just kind of drops off. And so again, that would be very hard to
Well, and
accept.
also presumably there's probably a conservation
There's a
easement somewhere in
conservation
here
easement
because
pretty
of the
much goes up.
pipeline.
Yeah, it's kind of cuts all the properties, yep. If I may speak, though, I understand what you're suggesting. I do feel that if the main concern is visibility, I think this can be resolved with the screening, as opposed to moving it back. I think that would kind of resolve the issues. And again, it kind of still maintains it in that corner, so we're not disrupting other parts of the field.
Right, and what I'm suggesting as a possibility is that if it's moved to be up against the conservation easement, because you're saying it can't be in the conservation easement, then if it's over the other side of the hill, maybe no one sees it. So, something I was thinking about while being on that site walk. Let's see, Engineer Berger, you were there, and then this block
Corey.
from from AKRF was there in lieu of Planner Werner. So either of you want to go first, and then we can go to attorney.
Everything you said, I agree with. It's close to the houses. Some screening would be nice to see, but it is in a location that stays away from the field. There's no real engineering concerns on it, other than the only concerns I always had was whenever we have the location determined, that its exact location be memorialized for the future.
Right. Yeah, I mean, as the applicant said, you know, if and when he gets an approval, hopefully nothing happens for 50 years, but obviously everyone needs to be fully aware of what would eventually go there if and when it's approved, so.
Correct.
And another concern that did come up in the past was about water on the site. I don't know if you,
Yeah, I didn't see
Thoughts
that
on
it was
that?
going to be a problem.
yeah.
I looked at the soils maps in the area. There's no high ward,
Yeah.
not on that site.
I know there are parts of Cricket Hill.
Particularly because of the view it has. She mentioned that was brought up. She mentioned also that it was pretty clear the neighbor's house was visible, so you could tell, you know, it's pretty close. And if screening is something that's going to be considered, that should be submitted. The applicant should provide all those details to the board, so the board can make the right decision on that. And alternative site locations were discussed, but, you know, the conservation easement is something that's a factor.
Right.
And also that this is a long-term type of commitment by the applicant. It doesn't anticipate it even being used for like another 30-ish years.
Right.
Right, so, yeah, that's pretty much the same takeaway that I got from her notes on this. So I don't really have anything to add right now.
Right. Okay, and just as we're talking, I mean, just a quick distance check from that location to the closest house is 334 feet, which again, we agree that state law does not apply, but in terms of setting a reasonable distance, I mean, it's 20% of what the law would say. So thank you, Planner Werner. Attorney Polidoro, anything to add?
I was checking to see if the conservation easement would allow the use now that there's a determination that there are no structures. But it says may not be used for any purpose other than recreational uses that do not result in disturbance. So I think even if they aren't considered structures, this terms of this conservation easement would still prohibit the
So like a
cemetery.
so like
Yeah.
soccer field or?
I mean,
For like
But
trails or something.
clearly digging a hole 6 feet into the ground is a disturbance.
yeah, yeah.
And I wouldn't say it's recreational use. I wouldn't say it's recreational use either.
I mean,
in France, they would think so, but maybe.
one time.
Yeah, one time maybe.
Right.
But, and this is actually an easement held by the town of Dover, so one that the planning board should consider, so
Right.
I don't think that helps. But I think if the applicant should explain why alternate sites are not available or wouldn't work, and/or give you some kind of plan with screening that shows the height and the species of that screening so that you can determine if it's adequate.
Right. Okay. All right, well, we're going to continue the public hearing now. Engineer Berger, if you could just pass up the, thank you. Nobody signed. Okay. Well, we'll still continue it.
That makes sense.
All right. So back to the agenda here.
Did anyone want to sign up?
Oh,
for
we're
the hearing
gonna,
that-
we'll get to,
Okay.
Yeah, you can sign it.
it's fine. All right, motion to continue the public hearing for Redless Family Cemetery. Motion made by
So moved.
Member Palmer, seconded by
Second.
Member LaRobediere. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of continuing this public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay, by a vote of 4-0, 2 absences, this public hearing is continued. No, as I said, no one is signed up. Any members of the public wishing to speak at this public hearing can please come to the podium at this time.
Thank you.
And just state your name for the record.
Yes, I will, thank you. Holly Marcy, 211 Cricket Hill Road. I appreciate the comments by the board and the time that you spent on Saturday. To the attorney's point, first of all, I don't think this should be approved at all due to the deed restrictions that are all Mills Seabolt subdivision. I find it questionable that Mr. Redless picked that spot because of the view, which is precisely why it shouldn't be there for everyone else that lives there. Your point about alternative spots, rather than putting it on that 8-acre lot on the east side, he could put it on the west side, which borders his other lot, and has trees there. There's large pines there within the fence line. So it'd be closer to his other lot, and I don't think any of us would see it. He also has, thank you.
Sorry, to interrupt. Yeah, just so we're clear.
Right.
These trees?
Right.
Okay.
On those, put it over there. Or put it towards the, I guess it's the north end, as far close to the conservation area that you can put legally. He also has a 28-acre lot with the riding rink, plenty of coverage. He also has, I believe, a deeded open spot. Put it down there. None of us would have to see it at all. Why put it on an empty lot that is so visible? So those are my questions. But again, bottom line, I don't think it should be approved because of the deed restrictions. But I appreciate the thought that's being put into this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public wishing to speak at this public hearing, please come to the podium at this time. And just, again, state your name for the record.
Randy Benson, 240 Cricket Hill Road. I just wanted to say that I appreciate what the board did, taking that site view on Saturday. And I do like the idea of the movement and moving it down a little farther off the hill. That way we won't see it. Because even if you do leave it there and you're going to put up screening, over time that screening is going to grow. It's going to ruin our view that we have there. And that's the whole premise of what, why everybody bought on this hill. But I just wanted to say that I think that's an excellent idea to move it where we don't see it. So thank you guys very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public wishing to speak at this public hearing, please come to the podium at this time. Okay, seeing no one approaching the podium, need a motion to continue, close with writing? Thoughts? I mean, at this point, is there anything further that the public could give us input on?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. Our next meeting is May 4th, okay, which is Monday. The Wednesday before that would be April 29th.
Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
29th, yes.
All right, I would entertain a motion to close this public hearing, allowing for written comment until noon on Wednesday, April 29th.
I will second that.
Okay. So you're making that motion.
I will make that.
Okay, you're
You
making
said
that
you were making the motion.
I'll entertain a
You're
motion.
entertaining
I
the
put it out there. You're making it.
I will make the
All
motion.
right,
then.
seconded by,
Second.
Member Williams. Discussion. I mean, I think that just gives people some time to finish collecting their thoughts. We could have it then for, in writing from them in time for the May 4th meeting. Member Robadier, thoughts on that?
That sounds good.
Okay. All right, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say no. Okay, that motion passes 4-0 with 2 absences. So this public hearing is now closed. As stated, the planning board would accept written comments until Wednesday, April 29th at noon. Okay.
And
All right, so
Mr. Chairman.
next step, yes. Engineer Berger.
Just for the record, so you have information on setbacks for cemeteries in New York State for public wells. New York State NYCRR Title 10 Appendix 5D states a 200-foot separation for public water wells and a 100-foot separation from cemeteries for individual wells. Just so you have the
Right.
information on separations.
Right, okay.
And there's a map note on the, on our survey map that says that there's no known wells within 200 feet.
Right. Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
is there a way that we could move forward with seeker at this time, do some of the part 2? I know one of the reasons that we haven't done seeker yet is because we were waiting on the Chris consulting report, which we received, and
Right.
also the ZBA, if the ZBA was an involved agency, which they're not. So I didn't know if there was a way we could move that forward as well.
I think it's probably best to wait until we receive any public comment we might get by the middle of next week.
Okay.
And then makes sense to me that we take such action possibly on May 4th.
Okay. And I just wanted to, sorry,
no.
did you want to say, there was just one other thing that was discussed during the site visit, and I just bring it up because it might be helpful to put it on the map note if we're going to be making any changes. I know that we had mentioned in our application that we want to have a fence to kind of outline the boundary of this. I think it was discussed that we don't have a purpose for putting the fence up at this time. And that way it also just maintains the view as it currently exists. It remains open. It doesn't
Right.
look like anything's changed.
Right.
And we would maybe want to put like a map note on the survey map to just say that we, you know, at the time that it's absolutely necessary, a fence would be installed, and the fence would be like what's similar to what's on the property now, the wood board, just outlining the property. I
Right.
just wanted to know if that was something that you would be interested in, just to kind of put it for the record for any future landowner to know that if a fence were to be installed, that's what the kind of fence would be.
Right. I think it's something we need to discuss because, I mean, the argument could be made that putting a fence there may draw attention to it, whereas if there is no fence, then it may not. Also, if it's going to be moved, it may be a moot point.
Yeah,
So-
it was just if we wanted to have it as a map note, we would
Right.
like to have the time to draft it and so that it can be reviewed.
I mean, I guess, yeah, it could be done and then possibly taken out. I mean, sure. All right. Did you want to?
Oh, I just wanted to be clear on what, if anything, you're directing the applicant to submit and when the deadline for that submission would be.
Right. I mean, the deadline is already
So it would be for the second meeting
asked
in
for
May.
May 4th meeting. So just, I guess an alternative, as I stated, showing also the contour lines. And then as I look at the parcel access, again, if considering Mr. Redless owns this property, and then this is the property we're mainly talking about, but also owns this property, you could see that there's a clear line here, which we all know what it is. Is there a potential for an alternative location on this other property that he does own?
Yeah, it's not accessible because there's also there's a fence line that's kind of goes around, and then, like I said, there's like right around, I don't have a pointer, if I may just.
Sure, you could borrow this
Right
one.
around here.
Okay.
There's like a pretty steep
Mhm.
incline, so it's
Yeah.
just like if, just for, again, accessing it or getting, anything that needs to be back there, just it's very hard to do. The place the proposed location is really what's most easily accessed. That's all wooded.
Right.
Again, you can see that's where the Iroquois gas line goes through.
Right.
And I think that area is also wooded to there. And I think it's just really, I think the whole area kind of slopes down. Even if it's not a steep slope, it's still, if you need to access it, it's just difficult to do. Whereas this other property to the
Right, it
south
does-
is all flat.
It does slope away, and
What about that corner to the left, right there, yeah?
I think that's used for, I think that's also, I think it's used for horses. There's,
unclear. And then, that could potentially shifting the, different neighbors may have a concern with
yeah,
it
because I
being
think
that
there's like
location.
fencing that runs all along here. You can see the fencing right here. Because I know when I was able to get to the property,
Yes.
we weren't able to, see there's fence right
Mhm.
here. So really, to gain access to that area, you got to go to that slope
Yeah,
area.
I mean,
See
but
what I can-
realistically, fences can always be moved.
Yes, but
So-
also realistically, a cemetery is permitted in this zone, and we're proposing it for that location.
Let's see.
There's also
There's some
wetlands.
wetland there. I was wondering, I just looked, as we zoomed in, it kind of had this look of a wetland to it, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, at this time, I don't know if there's anything else to discuss.
So what time would you, so you had mentioned, you were talking about showing contours
Yes.
on the map?
It was an alternative location with contour lines.
Yes.
Or why the alternative locations could not work?
I mean, I guess you could show why every
Yeah, I guess you
possible
could show why it
location
might not work, but.
could not work.
And perhaps a draft of the map note of the fence, that,
Sure,
I thought there was one more
screening
thing
plan?
that.
the screening, the
Screening,
landscape, if
that's
you're
it,
going to
yeah, screening.
propose keeping it where it is, what the screening would be, so it could be evaluated.
You pass it now. Thank you. Or just put it over there. Thank you.
And if we were able to kind of keep this on the track, I know I am past the deadline, but that's with the 2-week, moving it out 2 weeks. But is there a way that I could have flexibility on the extension? Not a flexibility on the extension, but a flexibility on the deadline.
Right, because the deadline for the May 18th.
I think it's already
meeting
probably passed, maybe last week or something.
Would be the 29th.
The deadline for which meeting?
The May
May
18th.
18th.
meeting
May 18th.
Would be
Yeah.
the 29th.
So how much time would you need?
Well, I mean, if I could try to get some, so are you suggesting that I wouldn't be able to make anything, and I can't submit anything for the May 4th meeting?
Well, I'm trying to think of what would be a reasonable timeline that then could be reviewed by everyone.
Maybe? Sure.
Sure.
It's pretty simple to review, right? 1 week before.
So Monday, the 27th?
A week
So
from
next
today.
Monday?
Yeah, a week from today.
That's acceptable to the board. Motion to allow the deadline for submission by the applicant for Monday, April 27th.
So moved.
Thank you. Seconded by,
Second.
okay, discussion, no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say no. Okay, so that passes. So
Thank you.
close of business on,
Chairman at noon? Noon?
yes, at noon.
Yeah.
That's
Noon?
noon. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay, next on the agenda is old business, Wingdale Solar.
We'll step out.
Attorney Polidoro. With two absences and a recusal, we are lacking a quorum.
We sure are lacking a quorum. So we can't discuss board business, but perhaps we could, oy,
Yes, wait.
what we could say
that's
is that, for the public's edification, that there is a draft of the scoping document that has been, or will be posted to the town website that was prepared by your consultant,
Yes,
and can be commented on during the public hearing, which you've already scheduled.
yes.
Yep, that's accurate. And so the applicant submitted a scope. We, at your request, did a lot of editing to that.
Yes.
And if the public is prepared to comment during the public scoping period, which is technically happening now, it's on now, through May 4th, and possibly beyond that, they can look at both versions, because they should be both posted to the project page on the town's website, and offer comments on either one.
Right, I mean, the better version is ours.
Correct.
But
I would recommend.
I'll waste
looking
your
at
time commenting on theirs.
I would recommend looking at the one that's been edited substantially.
Yes.
By a consulting firm that writes EISs all the time. So that would be my suggestion.
You just refer your third person.
Attorney Polidoro, I know the representative of the applicant is here. Can we even, what are we doing? Just-
I mean, look,
what's the-
technically, we don't have a quorum, but everyone's here. I don't know if you want to make a statement. The board can't take any action.
Right.
So,
Not that we were gonna,
we were just going to review the edits.
yeah,
Right.
we can't even do that.
We have nothing to say, and we weren't expecting any action to be taken. We were mostly here to just be involved in the conversation. And if the conversation can't happen,
Right.
then it is what it is.
I'll say
Okay.
we can walk through this prior to the scoping hearing being open on the 4th.
Yes, that's what we'll end up
Okay.
needing
A
to
long
do.
meeting. Is there any chance Mike shows up late? Do you want to put this off to the end, or?
Said that again?
Any
Right,
word
at the same
on
time.
member Villano? We know member Sador is not attending tonight. Has any word on member Villano attending? No,
He just texted me that he couldn't
he
attend.
couldn't.
Oh, I thought he's not.
There you
Okay.
go. Okay, we will see you on May 4th.
Yeah, if you want to do a long one on May 4th, we're ready.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on. We'll go to new business, amended Sherman Hill Development. We just need member Palmer to return to the dais. Thank you.
You can have a heads up.
Thank you. Hello.
Heard you guys had a nice site walk on Saturday.
Yes.
Missed you guys. I woke up in my bed and I was like, oh man, these guys are walking out on the site. Wish I was there.
It was 9 a.m. You weren't awake yet?
I was in Poughkeepsie.
Hours are different in Poughkeepsie?
Yeah.
You
Like
weren't,
30-minute time zone difference.
you obviously weren't at Tony's.
Right.
Okay. Good evening.
Hello. Good to see you all again. Peter Sander, representing the applicant, Mike Rafici, for the Sherman Hill amended special use permit and site plan. So what we have here is amendment to the special use that was issued for the two-family residences on lots 14 and 15. Back in 2024, the planning board issued a site plan and special use permit approval for 4 two-family residences on 2 on each of these lots. The proposed application will convert the basement area of these existing structures into one single family or one bedroom apartment, changing the two-family use to a multi-family use. Otherwise, there's no other additional work proposed on the site other than the expansion of the existing septic system. We provided correspondence from DCDOH, who essentially said the plans are looking good for the expansion. They're just waiting on the planning board approval of the project. Ultimately, what we have here is a type 2 action, because this is a 3-family residence, so there's no more seeker required for this, with limited grading and disturbance for the site, and no additional parking required. So with that, I'm happy to answer any of the board's questions.
All right. So this is proposed to be a basement apartment
Basement apartment, yep.
and also a communal laundry.
Yes,
Okay. So everyone in the building would have access to the laundry in the basement, and there's also an apartment that would be down there.
correct,
Okay. And there currently is no apartment in the basement,
correct.
but there are currently people in the other apartments. So
Yep.
they currently go to this basement to do their laundry.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, the communal laundry is existing.
Okay.
It will remain in the same location?
So is there a communal laundry in every basement?
Yes.
So 4 communal laundries?
Yes.
Okay. And 4 apartments?
All right. So the proposal is for each lot to go from 4 apartments to 6 apartments.
Yes.
Each building going from 2 apartments to 3
Yeah,
apartments.
so for lots 14 and 15, we're going from 8 units to 12 units.
Okay. And just so we're being very clear, this has nothing to do with these 2 parcels.
Correct.
Okay. You're here for the 2 parcels on the left.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's the planning board. Any other comments, questions at this
I-
time?
Excuse me, I do have a question. You don't see the reason to have any additional parking areas? Adding an apartment which could have 2 occupants?
So basically, the code is structured so that if it's a 2-family, you're required 2 spaces, but multifamily is a space and a half each. So we're providing 10 spaces for each of it. So we're actually going to be 2 spaces above the requirement for the multifamily use. So each lot will have an additional space than what's required.
Okay. So 6 gives you 9,
Mm-hmm.
and you're saying there's a 10th one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right. Any other comments? Member Williams? Nope. Member Robadier? Not at this time? Okay. Whoever would like to go first?
I can start. Do
All
you
right.
want to start?
It's some simple
Go
one.
Yeah.
I did take a chance to go out there on Saturday in
Okay.
advance of the others, just to look around, see the site's in good condition, but I also observed that there are excess parking spaces in each parking spot at 7:30 in the morning, at least 2 in each parking spot.
Okay.
So there were at least 8 extra empty spots open at 7:30 in the morning.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so I have a comment memo that's been sent around. Parking was addressed in it. It's comment number 6, but we'll start at the top. Just quickly, this is an amendment to a special permit. So technically, by the code, and I think your attorney would agree, we have to have a public hearing for this. Technically, since it's not really a site plan amendment, like a minor amendment, it's a site plan amendment plus a special permit amendment, because the previous special permit allowed 2-family dwellings, and now they're proposing it to be multifamily for these 2 lots. So technically, it's per your code, underlining the text there, it says that Section 145, I'm looking at comment 3.
Comment 3, okay.
Section 145-68D3 states that the planning board determines that the proposed amendment is inconsistent with the terms of any special permit approval. It shall be considered a new special permit amendment pursuant to 145-62. So it just needs a public hearing. I think referral to county planning as well, technically, because it's a new application. The previous application was referred to county planning. They had some comments at that time. But I think, just to follow the rules, we should send it again to them. Comment number 4 about floor plans for the units. Technically, I think we looked at those for the previous app, and it's the planning board serving as the ARB. So the buildings are already there. We know what they look like on the outside, but just showing a floor plan of that apartment layout in the basement would be helpful. Just on it's communal laundry, and they have access to it from inside the building already. So there won't be any like shared entrance. You know, I saw that you're adding a walkway and then like a new like entrance to that apartment, but that's only for that resident to use. No one else can use that. They don't need to use that to get to anywhere else in the basement.
That's how they get to the
That's about, so currently, there's
Okay.
a laundry in the basement,
Yes.
and everyone goes outside of their apartment to go into the basement.
Okay,
Correct.
so there's no
Like outside the
internal-
building
Got it.
to go into the basement, okay.
Okay. All right. So floor plans would be helpful there. I defer to Joe on the septic and DOH stuff, number 5. Number 6 is about the parking. The applicant stated it correctly. It is code compliant now. They were technically over-parked with the previous application too, so,
By overparked, you mean there's,
they provided more than
More
what they had
parking than
to-
needed.
To provide, yes. So under this amendment, accounting for everything, all the unit types and the code requirements, you need 18 spaces for these 2 lots, 9 per lot. And they're proposing 20 between the two, so they have enough based on the code's requirements for 2-family versus multifamily designation, so. These buildings are going from 2-family to multifamily, so technically they're meeting that 1.5 space per unit from your code. For number 7, just on seeker, the applicant mentioned that it was a type 2, but I don't know if I agree, just because we're adding more than 3 total. The type 2 provision that the applicant's bringing up is 1, 2, or 3 units on an approved lot, but this is over 3, so I don't think it's a new type 2. My recommendation would be you could either just keep the negative declaration you've had for the previous action, because this is a minor increase and not really substantial, and the buildings are there already. The parking's adequate, they're not disturbing any other parts of the site. You could just reaffirm that neg deck for these reasons I laid out here. It's already operational, construction's done, they're not building any new structures, no substantial ground disturbance. Their density is within limits of the subdivision that was approved in that area. They're only increasing the footprints by 63 feet roughly according to the plan. And they're also proposing minimal impervious surfaces for that access into the basement. So I think you can just rely on the previous seeker review that was done for the other application, rather than
But you still need to classify it.
classify it as an unlisted action. That's fine, but you would just rely on the previous negative declaration, is my recommendation. Moving on, there's referrals to, you mentioned the referral to the county that's required. I think the fire department too wouldn't like to see this, just because there's basement apartments, and I also recommend the code enforcement officer just to weigh in on the sprinkler requirements now that these are multifamily, and what he has to say about that. And finally, the planning board might want to do a site walk to check out the project that they approved, and also, see what parking conditions are like, and just to get a sense of what's changing out there, which isn't much. Yeah, so I think you can make those referrals tonight. Classify it as unlisted, but probably just rely on the other neg deck. That's what I have. And instead of public hearing, if you're prepared to do so, because it does require that
Right.
as well.
Just back to, thank you, just back to Engineer Berger. With the addition of each lot, so each lot has its own septic system.
Yes.
And going from 4 units to 6 units, does that change the septic in any way?
Yeah, they'll have to add a little bit to it, but it's minor.
Minor.
It's still under the threshold for a small system with the health
Okay,
department.
so it doesn't need like another tank or an extended field?
No, just
or-
another line. I
Another
assume you're
line.
putting one more line. 2 lines, okay, but it's a minor. It's under the 1,000, linear
Right.
feet requirement, which would be the threshold. So it's minor in increase.
In addition of 2 lines, then also the, I'm not gonna get the wording right, the overflow,
The
the
expansion area has
expansion
to have the
area
same
would then also
area.
have to be a bit larger,
That would be have to replace, but there's no physical work on that.
Right.
It's just providing it.
if it's needed.
Yes.
Okay,
But it's considered minor by the health department.
understood. Okay, thank you.
And the other, the impervious and the disturbance of the site is well under any need for a Chapter 65, so there's no erosion control issues.
Right. Thank you. Attorney Polidoro?
When you said the health department was waiting on the planning board, did you mean for seeker review?
No, they wanted a show of approval that the planning board is authorizing the expansion.
We already submitted the expansion, and we have it.
Basically, what you're saying is they've approved it, but they don't want to stamp a map until we approve it because
They can't allow me to.
in case there's some notes of things we want to add to it, they don't want to be given an approval letter and a stamped map until we take action at the planning board approving
Right.
it. So they basically said they've gotten their approval pending the planning board doing our approval.
Okay. Because like you said, it's a minor, because
Exactly, yeah.
like you said, it's a minor action.
Yes, it's a minor action, but if they approved it now and
Yeah.
issued a stamp on the map, then that map can't be altered by us.
Right, we might say, well, wait, maybe it should now be here.
Or we may add some notes relevant to the parking or things that have nothing
Right.
to do with the health department.
Sure.
Now, then we'll have, it's happened in the past where they had two tracks of approvals, health department map and planning board map, and they don't want to see that. They
Right,
want
right,
to see one map at the end, so they've gotten to this really good point where they won't
Right.
give any approvals until they hear from the planning board that's approved.
Gotcha. Understood. Thank you.
Are these one bedroom, two bedroom?
One bedroom.
One, okay.
So I do agree that it's not a type 2 action, it's unlisted, and so the board needs to classify it. And if you're comfortable with that there are no changes, then you can reaffirm your prior seeker determination.
Okay. We're going to set a site walk. And I guess just on the question of it being now a multifamily, does that trigger in the code that it would need sprinklers, or is that up to the code enforcement officer to
So
determine that?
I think he needs to do a review because the code changed in January of this year. So I don't know what the new requirements would be for multifamily, and
Sure.
they would be subject presumably to the new code because it's a change.
Right.
He needs to make that determination.
Right, so if there was already any multifamily structure in the town, doesn't need to put in sprinklers just because the code changed, but if you're now going to become multifamily, you may have to put in a sprinkler system.
Yeah, if that's a requirement.
It's based on the square footage and the material.
Okay.
So I'm sure that your office has done the code compliant check and you're underneath the square footage and your fire rating.
Yeah, Michael's been working with the building inspector on the sprinkler requirements.
So it's not a clear, multifamily doesn't automatically.
Oh, okay, it's not just an automatic trigger of, it's multifamily, therefore sprinkler, it's,
No, no.
Yeah, it goes in the building code.
I see.
Yeah, if there is no, single family, duplex, no, multifamily, yes, it's not that clear.
Okay,
It just says that multifamily with the following square footage, usage, gallonage, and material usage
right, okay,
will then require sprinkling.
right,
There are certain classifications of multifamily that do not require it.
gotcha.
We should get that interpretation though, because if you need a sprinkler, would you need a tank here?
Okay.
They've been talking, and at this point, it doesn't look like we'll need any tanks for the sprinklers if they are required. It can be done based off the existing well system.
And that would be actually a part of the health department approval as well. Because since this is a water supply system that's individual and not a town water system, if it was determined they needed to have a sprinkler, that would be not only our building department, but the health department would have to approve it because it would be supplied by the well.
Right,
So if the health department must have looked at that as well.
all right, and so, what I think I'm hearing from you is that you don't believe you need a sprinkler system, but if you do, then there's enough wellhead pressure
Yeah.
to supply the water. Okay.
Yep.
But the first part is also accurate, that you don't believe you need a sprinkler system? Or you're not sure?
Defer to Mike on that one.
No, I would say we need a sprinkler system.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, that's the way it looks.
It's not a
No,
it's not a like a choice kind of thing. It's just the code says
Yeah.
you meet it or you have to or you don't, right?
Yeah, and that's
Okay.
why I've been working with the building department and the fire department.
Okay.
Because like a lot of codes, it kind of like gets a little gray and, well, if you do this, or it says that, like you're saying, building material, there's a lot
Right.
of back and forth. So that's why I'm working with them to kind of get a concrete answer.
Sure.
Right now, it looks like we need sprinklers.
Right.
You know?
But like if it was you said where concrete, maybe think, like if there's a concrete building, maybe you wouldn't need a sprinkler system.
Yeah, yeah.
Or fire rating.
Or the fire.
Separations.
Gotcha.
I don't know, if you
Okay.
can get the separation between your first and second floor, but I don't know.
But if you do need tanks, they need to go on the plan.
No, absolutely.
That's the,
Okay.
Well, that's why we went down the sprinkler road, we'll say, right now, early
Right.
on, to see if we need to do that. And
Okay.
There's no indication that we need to
Have
disturb the
tanks.
ground.
So you
at this
think,
time.
so your thinking is you likely do need a sprinkler system.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that would be for the whole building, not just the basement,
Well,
right?
that's where we're discussing with the building department.
Okay.
Because there is some exceptions to that where you can do egress pass or certain units,
Mhm.
because the upstairs units are rated, and we're working that out to see what's happening.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, you
Um,
can, it sounds like they've already been talking, but
Yeah.
you can still make a referral and get something in writing from them to you so that you know what they're thinking, the building department and the fire department.
Just, I guess, as a relevant aside, do you know if we're having a meeting next Wednesday morning like we've done?
Oh,
The
you mean
department
department
meeting?
meeting? Yeah, I sent out a memo.
Okay.
I sent out an
Yeah,
email.
okay, good. All right, we'll have it come up there.
Yeah, we'll bring it up.
We have usually, there's a monthly meeting of,
Next Wednesday.
yeah, next Wednesday, of myself, planning zoning secretary, possibly the zoning board of appeals chair, the building inspector, the code enforcement officer, the town supervisor, just to kind of go over all different projects in town, and so
Yeah.
we usually kind of bring up new projects or what's going on with this or that, and
Yeah,
just so everybody's kind of on the same page, so.
Don's well, he's one of those talking.
Yeah.
Don,
Okay.
He's aware of that in the fire chief.
Gotcha.
I've had discussions with both.
Okay. Our consultants have anything else here? All right, having heard from our consultants, any members of the planning board have any other comments, questions?
I would say, consult the International Fire Code.
Mm-hmm.
And if you probably have already done that, and I know it's, like you have said, it's like the kids say, 6, 7. You go to one town, it says one thing, or one county, but from my experience with a 3-unit apartment, or building, I should say, excuse me, they would want fire suppression,
Yeah,
from my experience.
Yes. Yeah. And that was our understanding, or at least our thought process as well.
Right.
So, I mean, the current state of it is, we have a preliminary drawing from a sprinkler engineer
Mhm.
that I had to basically, at that point, to sit down with Don and the fire
Right.
department and say like, hey,
Okay.
does this work? And
Right.
acceptable, so this is
Okay.
being engineered by a sprinkler engineer.
Right. All right, we should set up site walk. Does this Saturday morning,
Doesn't work for me.
doesn't work for you? Doesn't work for you?
Says spring cleanup.
Sure.
Town cleanup, I should say.
Oh, okay. What time are you starting that?
I'll be probably starting at 6.
Jeez. Well, okay. I know I can't do it the next Saturday. I mean, we're at the time of year where you can still see things in the evening.
Whatever works for you guys.
Is there an evening that works in the next week and a half for anyone?
If it helps, I mean, I'm willing to meet some people one day and others, it can be more
Sure.
accommodating. It's not,
Right.
I mean, you're welcome just to drive in there anytime. Really.
Yeah.
So,
Any evening at like say,
The only one
7?
that doesn't work for me is the 28th.
okay,
Any other evening is fine.
all right. Remember over here, so, Saturday morning, or maybe how about Monday evening at, I don't know, 7? Was it Monday, does next Monday evening work for either of you? No? Okay. We can't all make every
Yeah,
sidewalk.
yeah, that's fine.
Remember Palmer?
What's the date on
The
it?
27th.
27 works
Yeah, a
for
week
me.
from tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Remember the Rover Deer? Is that,
That's
is that-
Monday I wouldn't be able to.
What?
It's next Monday.
Okay.
It's a big charity thing I'm a
Oh,
I
okay.
hate to-
Is it possible you could
Any
have,
other time, any other time.
oh, okay.
Any other time.
I didn't know if you could have, your consultant there.
I mean, if that's what it takes, then yes, yeah. The answer
Okay.
is simply, that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Does Monday morning work for you, or, does Saturday morning work for you, or Monday evening?
I have company coming next Saturday.
Okay, so Monday, the 27th at 7?
Yes.
Okay. So why don't we set 2 site walks, one for Saturday morning, 8 a.m., and one for Monday evening at 7 p.m.?
8 a.m.
Yeah. I mean, to be halfway through Joe's day already, so I'm gonna
What's that?
say be halfway through your day already at 8 a.m. So.
8 a.m., that's lunchtime.
Does that work? Okay, like one of you can be there for one, one of you can be there for, okay.
No problem.
All right, and then that way gives more options, because, there's 2 planning board members that aren't here. We don't know when they might be available, if at all, so. All right, motion to set site walks for amended Sherman Hill Development for Saturday, April 25th at 8 a.m. and Monday, April 27th at 7 p.m. Motion made by
So moved.
Member Palmer, seconded by myself. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say no. Okay, that passes 4-0, 2 absences. Is there anything else we were going to look at this
Yeah,
evening?
we're gonna make a omnibus motion to classify as unlisted, refer to Dutchess County Planning, refer to the building inspector, and refer to the J.H. Ketchum Hose Company.
Okay, motion made by
So moved.
Member Palmer, seconded by
Second.
Member Williams. Discussion? If you could just say that again, please.
It was a motion to classify as unlisted, refer the application to Dutchess County Planning, refer it to the building department, and refer it to J.H. Ketchum Hose.
Okay. Motioned and seconded. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say no. Okay,
And
that
then-
passes 4-0 with 2 absences.
The next question is whether you want to set a hearing for a month out, or whether you want to wait
Right.
for the site walk,
Yeah.
set it on the 4th.
I mean, we're going to have the site walks before the next meeting. We could set it at the next meeting for the meeting on the 18th. We should then hopefully hear back from everyone else,
So-
the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think because there's really nothing in this application that's going to change, we would like to request it as soon as possible, even if it's to discuss the site walk comments at the next available meeting. And then we can work on addressing that for the public hearing meeting.
Right.
Well,
Okay. I mean, we could set the public hearing tonight for the meeting on the 18th.
Okay?
And, yeah, it's typical that we discuss, not always, but typical that we would discuss a site walk at the next,
okay.
meeting, so. All right, so motion to set a public hearing for amended Sherman Hill Development for Monday, May 18th at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter, as public can be heard. Motion made by
So moved.
Member Palmer, seconded by
Second.
Member Lobadier. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say no. Okay, that passes 4-0 with 2 absences. Okay, so, yeah, I think that we could have a discussion on May 4th about the site walk.
Mhm.
And then we have the public hearing already set for May 18th.
Perfect.
Okay. Anything further this evening? Members of the board, consultants?
Would it be possible, if I can't make those 2 dates, to check it out before the May 4th meeting? Like,
I mean, you could always work it out with the applicant.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
just-
Besides next Monday. you
just
let me
drive
know.
through and check everything out? and-
Yeah, if you want me to meet you there, just let me know, if not.
Yeah. Or I can just do it on my own.
Yeah, well,
I don't want to walk around, but I'll just take a look from the car, from the road. That works.
It's
Okay.
interesting. That's okay. Sure.
Sure.
All right. Anything further?
Nope.
Thank you.
That's all. Thank you so much.
All All right, next we have Double JK Ranch accessory apartment. Good evening.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Robert Malillo, and I'm here tonight on the behalf of the applicant, Jason Ginder, the owner of the Double JK Ranch, located at 39 East Mountain Road, Dover Plains. We are here this evening requesting a special use permit to allow the construction of an accessory apartment over an existing garage for the owner on his 245-acre agricultural property. Double JK Ranch is a large, long-standing farm that has been in operation for nearly 100 years. It represents exactly the type of rural agricultural character that defines this area of town. The property remains an important open space resource, and its continued maintenance and stewardship are a priority of the owner. Mr. Ginder currently resides in Texas, but he remains actively involved in the care and operation of the ranch. And in order to...
One second. I'm sorry, one second. Can you just close the door, please? Thank you. It's just a little hard to hear you, even with the microphones.
In order to properly oversee the property during his visits, he is proposing to construct an accessory apartment strictly for his own use when he is on site. I want to be very clear on this point. This apartment is not intended for rental, short-term occupancy, or any commercial use. It is solely for the owner's personal use and has no connection to any other activity or use on the property.
Okay.
The proposed apartment will be approximately 1,274 square feet and will be located above an existing three-bay garage. The design also includes a small, approximately 200 square foot silo structure, which will provide access to the second floor. Architecturally, the building has been designed to resemble a traditional barn. The intent is to ensure that it blends seamlessly with the existing agricultural character of the property. This is not new or an out-of-place structure. It is consistent with what you would expect to see on a working farm of this size. From a site planning perspective, the recently approved septic system was designed to accommodate this future apartment so that the infrastructure is already in place. In addition, there is more than adequate parking available on the property, the existing three-bay garage, and this proposal will not create any circulation or neighborhood impacts. Under the town code, this application qualifies as a minor project. It does not change the overall character of the property, nor does it intensify the use beyond what is typical for a principal agricultural residence with an accessory structure. Ultimately, this request is allowing the owner to maintain a presence on the property so he can continue to invest in it, care for it, and preserve it. That continued stewardship is beneficial not only to the property itself, but to the surrounding community as well. With that, I respectfully request the board's favorable consideration of this special use permit. Thank you.
Okay. So the proposed apartment would be over this entire structure, or
No.
just part of it?
The apartment currently would only be here. Actually, I'm sorry, but I think there should be a different plan, and they're showing the silo on it.
Okay. Let me,
I could show you.
yep, let me just see what else. Nope.
It's an old plan.
Should be page
It's this one.
C1.
Elevation, yeah.
C1. Is there a page C1 I'm not seeing?
Page A1, page
It's on paper.
That's what I was.
Do you know which of these files it would be?
You know what, it got broken up into a bunch of little because it was a big file.
Hmm.
I can't tell you offhand.
Well, let me try A1. Oh, there we go. Okay.
So there's a set of architectural plans and a set of like site plans. So I think he's referring to the architectural, which shows
No,
like,
it's a site plan. It looks like
there
this.
is?
I don't know if you can pass it around.
I didn't see that one.
Okay.
Maybe I'll recognize that.
There's four PDFs labeled site, 1 through 4, and I didn't see,
Yeah, I clicked on those.
yeah,
Those don't have it.
right.
It's on the bottom here.
Okay, so it's on the
South end.
south end.
Yeah, closer to the
And has a
pond.
silo. So the silo is currently not there.
No.
Okay.
No, it's a proposed for the stairwell.
Okay. I guess you could take that back. Thank you.
Would any of you want to see it?
Okay.
Would you like to see it?
Sure.
If it's not part of it.
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't in what I got, but it's okay. Thanks.
Okay, so there'll be a garage, this apartment over the garage.
Yeah, this was an existing structure.
Okay.
That they just rebuilt under a building permit. They decided about 3/4 of the way through the project that the owner had moved to Texas. And now he's trying to find a way to be able to maintain and stay at the property as needed. So instead of finishing it, we stopped all construction at this point. It's, right now, there's no windows, there's no siding. It's been sitting like that for quite some time. And we came up with this drawing to try to create an apartment for them.
Okay.
You said it was 1,300 square feet, if I got that right?
It was 12, yeah, it was 12, plus the silo, the stairwell silo,
and the
yeah.
silo,
It's
yeah.
1274.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the silo is the entrance to the
Yeah, the
apartment
silo.
to go up.
Yeah, there's a door on the
Right.
back side of the silo that leads up the staircase, and then there's a door off the silo into the garage. So they can park the car in the garage and then go right in.
Sure. Okay.
I mean, how does that?
We'll talk about it.
Give us a moment. Let me just see if there's anything else here.
Floor area definition.
Just. Sorry. Okay, so it's going to look like this as you're
Exactly.
looking at the,
Yes,
what you would
sir.
say is the front of it.
Yep.
So then to the left of this, there's a
There's the
there's a
existing
current
clubhouse.
clubhouse, right,
Yeah.
okay.
There's no connection, besides being up against each other, there's no access between here and the clubhouse.
Okay.
Or here, the garage area. It was an old barn.
Right.
That they tore down for the most part to rebuild it because it was really dilapidated.
Gotcha. So any of us that have been there from previous site walks, where the clubhouse ends, that's where this building begins?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
It's not as though, so nothing happened with the clubhouse portion?
No, they just re-roofed it under a building.
Okay, but
permit.
like.
Basic facelift.
It's not like it got longer or shorter?
No,
Okay.
everything's exactly what was approved under the special use permit from this board.
Okay.
Again, the building's the same exact size that it originally was. There's
Right.
no difference. And we have, I believe the engineer established that at the last special permit.
All right, I don't have any further comments or questions at this time, or Williams?
None.
Nothing.
Or the Robadier?
No?
Okay. Whomever would like to go first?
I can start.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was last approved, the site was under a special use permit that was amended or redone in 2025 because it expired. And at that time, I believe this barn garage structure was shown as proposed then. So that was part of that approval. But this use as an accessory apartment wasn't part of that. So they're going through a new special use permit process just for that use.
Was this the silo part of that?
I don't believe it was.
No, silo's new. It was their
Okay.
access to trying to get a.
So it was really just
staircase
about
up.
having a garage, I think.
Yeah, and I think it was something like Don also raised that it was built, like it wasn't part of didn't get a permit or something, so that was all, the reapplication that was done included legalizing that barn too, as well, if I recall. So, so now they're just proposing an apartment on the second floor of this. Just going through the comments, it's a minor project, it does require a public hearing, as we do for all accessory apartment applications. We do need ARB review, which the applicant has provided those architectural plans.
Right.
It does require a county referral. There was a wastewater engineering report that was submitted that seems to show there was approval by the county. There was a stamp of approval showing that the property septic can support this unit.
Right.
Joe can comment if he has anything on that.
I believe that might have been one of the holdups, or that the septic took too long,
Yeah.
or something.
The reason why the
Special
last
use
one
permit,
expired, yeah.
It took us some time to
Expired,
get
okay.
the septic permit.
I remember there was something about the septic.
So the current septic now includes the apartment?
Yes, under the special use permit for the club, we had added the apartment at the time to that to accommodate, so we wouldn't have to go back and start over again with the health department.
So it's large enough to support.
What's that?
You have approval for a system large enough to support
Yes.
the extra units.
Yes, I
But now
provided
you're-
that in the documentation.
And now you're applying to the board for approval of that unit.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay.
Wanted to get the property owner through becoming
Sure.
legal, so that we can continue
Right.
moving forward legally.
So, comment number 5 refers to further down, which I feel like there might be a variance issue on this, based on the size of the apartment. We can talk about that when we get to it, which won't be long. And then just, referral to the fire department, since you're adding a unit there, and there's the, silo stairs access and ingress and egress issues, if there's any concerns there. Is it like a spiral staircase going up?
It's a 15-foot wide staircase. It's a
Okay.
very wide staircase.
Okay, so number 7 just talks about general code compliance for accessory apartments. So in this case, it's a accessory structure on an owner-occupied property. The code doesn't allow units larger than 1,000 square feet. Here, you're saying it's about 1,200. The application said about 1,500. I think that's where I got the 1,500
Yeah, that
number
was
from.
including the silo. I didn't
Okay.
know if
So-
not, I just wanted to include everything.
Not including the silo, it's still over 1,000?
Yeah, it's 1274. The
Okay.
silo was, I believe,
So-
2 something.
I mean, I think that's an area variance for the ZBA to consider.
Right.
So
Oh, yeah.
I think we might need to make that referral tonight.
Because it's an accessory.
Because
Structure?
it's not within the principal house, it's a separate structure.
Right.
And that's, the code says, the underlying section of that, number 7 there, or a dwelling unit no larger than 1,000 square feet
Be-
located
be-
in an accessory structure.
Because of the agricultural use of this site, are they allowed to claim any kind of,
I mean, if it was farm worker housing, but that's not.
the owner know how to use a scythe?
He works the site.
I don't know.
I don't know, do we have that? Is that something we?
I just know of other,
It's ag and
I just know of other places in town that are agricultural where
Yeah,
stuff gets built and doesn't even come to us.
right.
Because it's agricultural and they're just kind of like, oh yeah, we
Cricket's
we
law,
built this
yeah.
thing for farm workers or whatever. Like, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, then we could get an interpretation from Ag and Markets, but honestly, it's probably faster to get a variance than have Ag
Yeah.
and Markets give an interpretation.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so then, I still think, yeah, we could go back and forth about it, but technically, even though the owner is not on the property all year round, they would be occupying the unit, so technically it's owner occupied. So
Sure.
I don't think there's an issue there.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like
Multifamily, but
20. I mean, it's not like this is a real floor.
No. But it does count as building height, right?
Sure, right, is it 35 feet or is it?
I don't think it is,
4
but
feet, yeah, I mean, you
just-
know.
Confirming that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so number 8 is just,
Materials.
yeah, well, yeah, for the ARB, technically it's elevations, floor plans, and if you have like the color scheme, like the building materials, that would be helpful to add to that as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so on the site plan, I noticed you have something there that I didn't see, and what's the date of that one? That's fairly new, right? Because,
Date on this is February 3rd, 2026.
and was that done by Insight or a different?
No, it was
firm?
from the architect. He
Right, so
added
what
to
we've
it.
looking at in here is, we have a bunch of plans labeled site that are the Insight drawings from last year's approval. So that's why I raised that as an issue, like the applicant seems to be using last year's site plan as the site plan they want to use for this. So I asked for there to be a separate standalone set or drawing that shows this area, what's proposed, you know, rather than showing it as proposed, it's now existing, that building's there. It seems like you've done that, so just take a look at this comment 8 and maybe just
Yeah,
add
like
to
I
that.
said, I gotta clean up some of the
The
language on this.
dimensional, yeah, the dimensional table would be helpful too, from the RU district, just taking the requirements of the RU and
Sure.
showing compliance, including the building height. So, yeah, it seems like we're partially addressing that comment, which is good, but just resubmit that for the record.
Yeah, I'm sorry it didn't get submitted.
It's okay. And for seeker, it's a type 2 action. With this apartment and the primary residence, you're at a two-family residence on an approved lot, so technically it falls under the type 2, C11 there, so. But if the ZBA was to review this, we got to figure out who can be the lead agency. I think
Well, if it's type 2, you don't need one.
that's true. You're right. There's no environmental review at all, but I think the ZBA wouldn't have to declare it type 2, or would they be the ones to do that?
Yeah, I
probably the way
think they
to
could
go.
declare their own type 2.
That's what I meant by that comment, I think.
Okay.
Not designating lead agency, but who's going to actually make that type 2 finding? ZBA or the planning board?
I would think the planning board's more geared to doing that.
Well, if you go to the ZBA for a variance, or one of the type 2 categories is area variances, they can
Yeah.
call it a type 2. The planning board can do their own type 2, or they could just rely on that type 2. It doesn't,
Really matter? Okay.
yeah, just some housekeeping there. Yeah, so the recommendation was to discuss these comments, see if about a site plan, which seems like it's been partially done, and we'll take a look at that when it comes back. A site walk, if the board is willing to entertain that. And I think once we get that plan officially, the referrals can be made to the county, but it sounds like ZBA is the first stop for this, with the variance issue.
Okay. Thank you. Engineer Berger, anything to add?
Yeah, Health Department's approved, but I think so that there's consistency, it hasn't been built, has it completely been built for the additional lines needed for the accessory?
Nothing has been done.
Yeah,
It's an
I
empty
think so.
space currently.
So Don Anderson knows we should probably have note on there somewhere referencing the Health Department approval and the dates of that map.
This map?
No, the map you have from the Health Department has a stamp on it.
Yeah, that's all part of the application.
I
that's
know,
submitted.
but on this site plan, so
Oh, you want
Don
on this
sees
site plan.
that, so he doesn't misses it. Just
Gotcha.
reference the approval date in the map it's on.
Got it.
So Don knows when he's
Yep.
looking at his review where it is and not having to go run around to find it.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
mean, I just think it's clear.
Yeah.
Since it was approved in advance of this and not part of this stamp
Right.
that you're going to be stamping as a town planning board, that type of note is important for when Don and I are out there, we look at it and we know what we're looking for.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Attorney Polidoro?
I have no additional comments.
Okay. Having heard from our consultants, or the planning board, any comments, questions? All right, so, we said a site walk, although it seems like this was, already a little difficult. mean, I would propose Saturday, the 25th at 9 AM, but no one else could seem to make it. I don't- Engineer Berger, or,
Fine with me.
okay. And then is there an alternative? Does that work for you?
Yeah, that's
That
fine.
works for your,
Yeah,
Client or
Barry,
someone-
who's living on the property, will be there. They'll show you whatever you need.
I Barry?
I'll be away.
The 25th at 9?
Yeah, and I guess it is, I don't know, a secondary date for anyone else who? I guess it would have to just be another night of the week, or,
I've already walked every inch of the property
sure.
the last 40 years.
Sure. Okay. I mean, if there's just no, if you don't need to see it again, I guess you don't need to see it again. But I guess just for legalizing.
I could send you plenty of pictures if you need.
Is
No
the,
way.
is
Would
the
you like-
silo up now?
No,
When
there's
you
no
go on the
construction.
sidewalk?
The
No.
only thing that there is
Okay.
the 3-car garage, which has been there for the last probably 50 years.
So there's not any visual change from the last
No.
sidewalk? Okay.
No, not from last year or the year before, the last 10 years.
Okay. So maybe there's nothing actually to really
Yeah, I can
See
provide
then.
pictures if you like, just for the record.
pictures of just what it looks like.
Yeah,
the
what it
present
looks like
conditions.
currently.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
I mean, just,
Like I said, I'm trying. The last time we had a site walk there, I don't know if anything would have, from what you're saying, I don't know if anything would have really changed other than maybe some landscaping. Or,
yeah, I mean, he's been improving the property. He's planted last year 200 trees
Okay.
that are 4 inches in caliper on the property.
Wow, that's nice.
So, I mean, he's investing in the property tremendously on things. He's just cleaning up stuff, taking invasive species, weeds out, stuff like that, planting new stuff on the property. He's just continuing to make it better.
Sure. I mean, I guess we could just forego a site walk then. I mean, unless you feel you need to see it, I can go. I can also be, if we're going to be at a site walk at 8 AM, what's to stop there at 9 AM?
Fine with me.
Okay. So motion to have a site walk Saturday, April 25th, 9 AM.
Anyway.
Yeah. Motion made by myself, seconded by
Second.
Member Williams. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say no. Okay, that motion passes 4-0 with 2 absences. All right.
I'd also like some photos though for the record.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Pull
sure.
whatever you need. I can submit 'em.
All right. Is there any other?
I want to make a motion to formally refer them to the zoning board?
Yeah. And what about the rest, like the county and all
I
that?
think we would have to wait, wouldn't we? Until the
I mean,
ZBA?
we can hold off to see what the zoning board does, or we can send it.
When would the zoning board then look to meet it on this?
June.
So,
Hold on, let me just check.
We could make it smaller, but I
Oh,
guess
wait a
that's
minute,
not.
no,
Yeah. When's the meeting? And
no, May 11th, the deadline for May 11th is April 22nd. So they
Okay.
could do May 11th.
yeah. Okay. May 11th. Good. All right. So motion to refer this application to the ZBA. Motion made by
So moved.
Member Palmer, seconded by Member Little Deer. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Okay, that passes 4-0 with 2 absences. Any other referrals or?
let's wait for the plans to get cleaned up and then we'll send it to county planning. Because he was,
Yeah,
it's
that's
using
great.
the old
Well,
site
this one,
plan.
yeah, and
Yep.
technically didn't get this for the record.
Yeah.
so-
And I
no
guess
problem.
if they're going to meet with the ZBA on the 11th, I guess we could have you back on the agenda for the 18th to discuss what, if anything, maybe has come of that.
Just make sure you get the application to me by Wednesday.
Next Wednesday?
This Wednesday.
This Wednesday for the ZBA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do my best. If not, I just have to wait.
Just as long as you fill it out and you get it, email it to me,
Oh, okay.
and then send the checks in.
Oh, okay, so it's just filling out
Okay.
the application. Okay.
Do you want to get it online, or do you want a copy from here?
I'll take a copy from here. That's fine.
Do
Thank
need-
you.
Is it,
Don
Thank
need
you.
to weigh in before they?
I don't know that it needs to.
yes, it'll say on the app. I'll get it.
I think it's on the application.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anything further for this application?
Can I ask if going to the zoning board, could I say that your planning board's in favor of this?
No, we
Wouldn't
don't.
say that.
We don't do that.
They've not voted on that.
Yeah, no, the zoning board has to make their own
No, but,
determination
Yeah.
on the variance.
but I can't say that you're against it.
How about you just say the planning board referred us to
Yeah.
you?
There you go.
And they called it type 2.
Trying here, come on.
I mean, we can make a motion to classify it as type 2 if that helps, so.
I mean, right. This is-
Yeah.
Okay, motion to classify as a type 2 action under secra, motion made by
So moved.
Member Williams, seconded by Member Palmer. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. That
I'll take
passes
that.
4-0 with 2 absences.
Something.
Yeah, I mean, again, you can see what the code says.
Yeah.
It's an area
It-
there.
I think it's very.
It's up to them.
Yeah, it's not a large variance, so.
The question is, we were looking at it, whether the staircase is included or not included.
Well, that was
So
kind of why I broke it
that's the-
apart. I wasn't sure how to include it, and I played phone tag with Don today. So him and I kept calling each other back and forth, and it didn't work out.
So you might want to get his opinion
That's
first
what, yeah,
before
that's
you.
what I'm gonna do before I make my application, so I know exactly what I'm asking for.
The floor area definition says you exclude basements and cellars, but it doesn't say to exclude staircases, so.
Okay.
Even if it's not
I
habitable?
mean, it's kind of an
know if
uninhabitable
you-
staircase, right?
It's not internal to the unit, right?
Like, I think, like, my own house has a staircase up to an apartment over the garage, but it's, I mean, it's enclosed, but it's not like, it's cold in the winter, I don't know, like, it's not like, feels like
Yeah.
it should count.
Is this going to be heated space, conditioned space?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would think it'd have to get
That was the
heated.
wrong answer.
Be cold in there.
So I don't know, it's not
Trying to
my
get this,
call.
like-
That's something just needs to be figured out
Yeah,
before you go.
I know some towns exempt staircases, some don't. So I'll find out.
warm.
Was that, yeah. Well, I got a laundry room at the bottom. If you look at the plan, there should be a laundry room there with a washer. So I'm gonna have to heat it for the washer.
Oh, so it's part of the apartment too?
So there's a separate door. That's like its own space.
Mm-hmm.
So like a little closet that has a stackable washer in it.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get a sense. So is it basically like 30 by 40 or?
Currently, I think it's 15 by 15. It's like
No.
a 15-foot round circle, I believe.
No, the apartment.
Oh, the apartment? I think it was.
I guess
I think it
it's
was
bigger
29.
than 40.
I think it was 29 by 41. I believe if I measured from interior walls.
Yeah, I'm looking at like 5, 12, 17, 20.
You know, I kind of just squared it out.
29 by 41, okay. Okay,
1,200.
yeah. All right, I think we're all set. Thank you. Nothing else
Thank
to
you very
discuss?
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
They took out the internal walls.
Let's see.
Don't want to do leasable space, take out the walls.
Right, yeah.
Take out closet face walls.
Sir,
That's the
here's the application for you. Just go around the,
I don't think it's, I think it's broader than that, because it
No,
says.
yeah, it's not the same as leasable.
Yeah.
space.
No, it actually said including closets.
Actually includes walls.
I think so.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And would you like me to submit, once I clean up that plan right away for the consultants?
yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll do it as quick as possible. Thank you.
It says including the interior floor.
The deadline for the
of all
May
rooms,
18th meeting is
including
April
closets,
29th.
pantries, and hallways.
Then mention walls.
All right, so our next meeting is,
Doesn't mention well. We'll
May
let them make
4th.
that
You
argument.
can make that argument.
the deadline for that has already passed. Although we extended the deadline for that one application. So on the agenda for May 4th, we would have the public scoping session for Wingdale Solar
Right?
and,
Old business would be Lake Ellis Country Inn,
right, we could talk about the site walk for that and just where we are with that application.
amend Sherwood Hill Development,
Hold on.
if the information's in,
Right.
and Double K if more information comes in.
That's for May 18th. Okay,
May 4th.
that's for May 4th. Okay,
No, that'll be on May 18th.
that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
So May 4th is the public scoping session for Wingdale Solar
right.
and
Lake Ellis and Sherman Hill,
And Redless.
maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right. On the motion to adjourn, Motion made by myself, seconded by
Second.
Member Palmer. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Or adjourn.
All right, Marilyn, Sherman Hill's only to discuss the sidewalk, though, really.
What?
Sherman Hill's only to discuss the sidewalk. Their hearing is on the 18th, I think.
The
Tough.